I would like to invite someone today, someone very special. He is one of our Anagarikas, young Anagarikas at the monastery. He joined us when he was 13 or 14. He's been with us for the last 2.5 years. He was the first to join the monastery, and then soon after came his father, who is now a monk. His mother, who is a Sravika, because by the time she came in, she'd already passed the age that we unfortunately have to have set in place to become an Anagarika. But there's very little difference between Sravikas and Anagarikas. The only difference is every night they go back home. If you're an Anagarika, then you're in our custody. And then, after the mother, came his 2 sisters. And they're both Anagarikas. So the whole family is now in the sasana. These are people who are so blessed. It's something even I couldn't give my own family. But just imagine, all 5 of them today to have inherited the sasana. And all 3 children, very intelligent. Used to go to international schools. Today, they hold a very special place at the monastery. The youngest sister, I know when she grows up, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think she's only still 13, but she can talk for England when she starts speaking, and she gives the Dhamma pitch perfect. At 13 years of age, she will be able to teach you the Dhamma. For no other reason than having been immersed in the Dhamma. Because there is no such thing called old or young, is there? These are all chittas, individual chittas. So they have really benefited from the sasana. So today, as we have the Pindapata, I brought him along as a little gift. And I asked him if he could speak a few words to share his experience of having come into the sasana, because today is Teacher's Day. So perhaps in him, although he's only 14 years of age, you just might see a little teacher. Are you ready? All right, the stage is yours then.
Permission from Venerable Thero and my dear mothers, fathers, brothers and sisters. So, I'll ask you a small question. What is the sasana? What is the sasana? Okay, it's not a small question, it's a big one. Is it the alms bowl? Is it the robes? Is it the monks? Okay, I'll tell you a small question. Long ago, in the time of Lord Buddha, one day Ananda Thero went to meet Lord Buddha, and he asked Lord Buddha, he told Lord Buddha, "Oh great one, I feel that half of the sasana is noble companionship." And then what did Lord Buddha tell? Did he tell yes? No, he told no. Ananda, not half of the sasana. The full sasana is noble companionship. My name is Tavashan Narasinghe. I am 16 years old and it's been about 2.5 years since I became an Anagarika. So, before these fortunate 2.5 years, I lived in Nugadanda with my parents and my 2 sisters. My mother and father were both engineers, and me and my 2 sisters went to international schools in Colombo. So, as a family, we went on trips, we went abroad, we had parties, we did various things we knew that could make us happy. So, if I take myself, I played video games, watched films, and listened to songs. And I was so addicted to music. I had violins, pianos, organs, guitars, many musical items. And if I didn't get the chance to listen to music a particular day, I would feel like my life was empty. I would get the feeling that I was not fulfilled that day. So that was how I spent my life. I was like a headless arrow. I didn't have an aim in my life. So one day I got the chance to listen to one of Guru Hanro's Deshana. It was about relief from vexation and those things. And after listening to this sermon, I began to think to myself. So my great grandparents, I don't know about them. My grandparents, they were bankers. So they lived happily. They did what they want. They had their children, and they had families. They built houses. They did many things, and then they died. And then my parents, they are engineers. They have children, and they have good jobs. They spend their life luxuriously, and they will also die. And me, my parents need me to do my O levels. Okay, I did. Next, my A levels. Okay. Next, my diploma, my degree, PhD, second PhD. I become a doctor. Then I need to get married. Okay, I get a good wife. Then my children, I teach them, and then my grandchildren, and on and on and on. And then at last, I also die. So I began to think that this was like an infinity loop. It goes and goes on again, and there's no end in it. And the day that I understood this, that was the day I came to the monastery. When I was at home, there used to be countless number of nights where I used to hug my pillow and cry my eyes off. And in the morning, my mom would come and wake me up, Puta, wake up. And then I would wake up and say, and when my mother would ask, why did you sweat so much? And I would tell, oh, it was so hot at night. But I was the only person who knew that it was all my tears that I shed. It was all because of the sadness, sorrow, and the grief I had inside me. And I couldn't express it to anybody in my lay life because there was nobody. But from the day I came to the monastery, I had my teachers with me. And they were there for me to tell my problems, for me to express my sadness, my sorrow. They were with me with my happy moments and sad moments. And they put me through different challenges and obstacles. And I'm not afraid to face them because I know that they are at my back. That's one thing that my teachers told me. We all are pieces of rocks. I think you have seen the Buddha statue behind me. That's also, think it's a rock. And there's a rock. And to get the image, the Buddha statue, you should all remove the unwanted parts of it. But the removing process is hard. But if you withstand the pain, then at last the outcome is the Buddha statue. Like they say, no pressure, no damage. Without any hard thing, you cannot never gain something good. So, because I know my teachers are with me, I'm not afraid to be. So, I'll tell you a small stanza. Dhammang vinanatti pitacha mata, nameva tana saranam patitta, tasmahi bokiccha manya pahaya, sunata dareta charata dhamme. My problems can be only solved by the Dhamma. Neither my mother, neither can my father solve my problems. It's only me by myself listening to the Dhamma, understanding it, and contemplating it that I can solve my problems. So now, as an Anagarika, I have nothing compared to my lay life. I don't have video games, no films, no songs, no tasty food, get what we eat. But I don't have anything I had compared to my lay life. But I have one thing. It's the true happiness. I'm happy and happier than ever. I am free. I have the freedom that I have never felt in my life. So I'll tell you a small quote. La vida es corta, vive apasionadamente y siente la felicidad, which means your life is short, so live it passionately and feel the true happiness. So I make this opportunity to invite you all, come join with us to feel the true happiness and to be happy and happier than ever and to feel the freedom that you have never felt in your life. Teruvan Sannai. May you all attain supreme bliss of Nibbana.
So, what do you think about that then? Now you heard from a 16-year-old. Who else are you waiting to hear from? A 6-year-old? I'll embarrass you by bringing a 6-year-old the next day. These are the great trophies that I collect in my trophy cupboard at the monastery. When I was a layperson, I used to have many cups and medals that I used to win from athletics and so on. I left them all back when I came to the sasana. But now I have a different kind of trophies. These are those trophies. The many hearts that have been healed. Did you hear what he said? He used to cry his eyes out, cry himself to sleep. And the mother would walk in thinking that he'd sweated overnight. So mothers, when you go home tomorrow to wake up your son, and you see that his pillow is wet, you might be tempted to ask him, Putta, was it hot? And he might say, yes, it was. You can't blame him for it, because you don't have the answer to the problem that he has. So there's no point in sharing that problem with you, unless, of course, you have now taken on the Dhamma and you're beginning to solve your problems with the Dhamma. Dhammang vina natti pita cha mata. Namevatanang saranang patittha. See? There is no other foundation, no other refuge than the Dhamma itself. Neither mother nor father can come to your rescue. When your mother passed away, did her mother or father come to her rescue? So when you pass away, will your mother and father come to your rescue? In your moments of grief and sorrow, do your parents have an infallible answer? That's the thing. They love you, but if they haven't given you the timeless message, if they haven't shown you pure love, then you are still looking for that love, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we invite you all the time, come and get it. Because there's an abundance of it in the Sri Sambuddha Sasana. It is the source of love. It is the source of love, the Sri Sambuddha Sasana. What you witness was a great victory for that young child. In the last 2.5 years, it would have been difficult, I'm sure it would have been. It couldn't have been easy. At the beginning, it might have been tough. That's why he gave the analogy of taking a rock and carving out a Buddha statue from it. Every time you hammer away and chisel away the bits that are not the Buddha, it hurts. Yes, it hurts. But that hurt is worthwhile. What about all the times you were hurt in your lives? Do you think they were worthwhile? When you went through a breakup, did you actually learn a lesson? Honestly, did you actually learn a lesson? Remember your first breakup at school? When you were at school, your first childhood sweetheart, crush, right? That broke down. There was a breakup. Did you learn a lesson? If you'd learned a lesson, would you have what? Would you have gone for seconds? No. So did you learn a lesson? That's the thing. But perhaps your mother was there, maybe your father was there, maybe your best friend was there, and they said, don't worry, now you will get over it, and then you'll find the right person. That's what they said. You'll find the right one. There's plenty more fish in the sea. So you waited for the right one, and eventually you found the so-called right one. And ever since, you've been so happy, haven't you? Not a day has passed where you were unhappy, sad, sorrowful, grumpy, disappointed, frustrated. Am I right? I know what you're thinking. Swamina said, nothing could be further from the truth. That's the thing. Neither mother nor father has answers to these problems, ladies and gentlemen. That is why your children stay mute when they have problems. When your child does drugs, they will not tell you that they're doing it because they know that you don't have the answer. I'm assuming that I'm talking about parents who have no Dhamma, okay? Which in your case might be different now. Because now you have actually begun to mature. People think that maturity is simply growing old and getting more experience. More experience of the wrong stuff is what? Is that good? Imagine someone makes a mistake doing a sum. 2 plus 2 is 5, they think. So to get more practice, they just keep on doing those sums. More and more experience. Every time they do 2 plus 2 is 5. Have they matured? They do that sum 100 times over, 1,000 times. Have they matured? At the 1,001st time you ask them, what is 2 and 2? They'll say it is 5. Have they matured? Is there any point in that experience? No. Experience is only worthwhile when it comes with a dose of wisdom. Otherwise, experience is just a waste of time. Have you matured, or have you just wasted your time? Don't answer. Think. And then think about what noble companionship has started to do in your lives. Then think about the place that the Mahasangha today hold in your lives and the impact that they have had in your lives. What the truth has done for you. That's why I want you to be that truth. Take the truth. Take the message of the truth. Far and wide, ladies and gentlemen. Every weeping soul needs to hear this truth. Every child who cries themselves to sleep every night, they need to be told this truth. Every girl who thinks that she doesn't look good enough, every girl who thinks that she has to go and spend hours in front of the vanity mirror, doing herself up, making herself up, because she feels that she's not good enough, they have to hear this message. Perhaps your daughter is like that. Maybe she spends 3 hours in front of the mirror before she feels she's good enough to step outside and go out. Have pity on her. Have pity on her. Why don't you love your daughter as much as I love her? Why do you feel as a mother your job is to buy her the best, most expensive makeup kit? How about we make her mind up rather than trying to help make her body up? Which one's the more motherly love? You answer. You think. Think to yourself. You need no answers, just think. That's why I say a mother is in a chitta. You don't have to have a womb to be a mother. So those are victories. The whole family has won. The younger sister is the talkative one. If you thought his talk was nice, you should wait to listen to the other two sisters. They're good bullets for the sasana. One day you will hear from them.